I welcome our kind listeners to Under the Banyan Tree.
What happened to proudly?
I forgot.
Just say
I
it.
proudly welcome our kind listeners to Under the Banyan Tree.
The live show where ancient epics meet modern minds.
I am Leo, a yogini from the West.
And I am Mayank, a rationalist from the East.
And together we journey through the Mahabharata from the retelling of Ramesh Menon, epic of war, faith, and everything in between.
Everything in between.
And today we are reading chapter 34, the exhibition, and chapter 35, the golden warrior, with the sankalpa of finding pride in it. With this in mind, would you like to share your understanding of pride in a proudly way?
I wrote 3 definitions for pride. One is self-confidence. Second is as the 7 deadly sins, which I learned from Full Metal Alchemist, as hubris. And I also googled it because I wasn't able to understand few things as pride, and I was like, this should be pride, but which category it is? And when I searched, I found there's also a third category, which is pleasure from association.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, I think it will be very clear when we go through the text, because it will become just obvious. So, and I've done
Okay,
is
like Kunti being proud of
yes,
Karna.
or Arjun,
Yeah, Arjuna.
because she was associated with them. So I've tried to write wherever I found or felt this is pride. I tried to give them one of those 3 categories or a mix of categories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my understanding of pride, it's similar to you. I started by looking at pride from the beginning, and from a theological perspective, we translate the sin as pride, but actually is something slightly different.
So can I just uh, when we are talking about sin and 7 deadly sin, can you just add the context, like from which theology or religion this stems, because people may
From
not.
Christianity.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you for flagging that. So the 7 deadly sins are grounded in the theology of Christianity. And what I understand is pride is considered the first sin, that all the other sins sprout from it because it's rooted in the idea of separation. So from the moment that we consider ourselves, only from the moment that we consider ourselves separate from God, that we only then we can consider ourselves superior or above something. And in a way, pride only can exist when we compare ourselves or when we compare others. And I think that's why pride is considered the sin of the sins, that everything else, because you need to extricate an individual from God. And I think nowadays pride in a healthy level, it's something considered positive. It's self-confidence, it's self-assertion, is believing in oneself. And I want to see this both sides in the text. Do you want to add anything else?
I think Yeah, like I tried to approach the text through all those three definitions which I came up with, and I'll be honest, like reading these two chapters for me was little frustrating. uh me
Well, as the starting of this episode, right?
Yeah. 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 I think today, as if the universe was against us and it was trying to bring our hubris or pride down. That we thought, like, now we have figured it all out. Today we are essentially starting an hour ahead of our schedule, and we were very happy about it. And then we had all sorts of audio glitches. So, but let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, would you like to go for it's Shravan, our summary?
Yeah, our summary is Shravan. No, I think my pride will be hurt by my performance, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to do it. It's
Go
my
ahead.
turn.
Go ahead.
So off I go with the summary. And I hope it's a summary, it's not a retelling of the thing. I will try to do this in less than 5 minutes at least, because we've been quite extensive. So, okay. Chapter 34, the exhibition. And basically, this is just telling us that they decide to have an exhibition of the skills of the of the Kauravas and the Pandavas, and they prepare an arena that it's all accordingly to the Vastu Shastra and it's sanctified, and they go there and show off all their skills. And after there's someone that comes, that's Karn, and he makes a sound with his bow that only the big devas can do. And Karna comes, and we are entering the other chapter, the Golden Warrior, and shows off all his skills. He's even better than Arjuna, accordingly to this book. And he challenged Arjuna to a duel. But Kripa comes and says, "Oh, a prince only fights with someone of the same rank." And Duryodhan interferes and say, "Okay, you need to be a king. I make you the king of Anga." And Bhim has some commentaries that are quite
Distasteful.
distasteful, yes. And by the end, Drona and Karan comes out very victorious, and everyone are very happy with them. And the Pandava, they are ashamed of themselves, and they feel, ashamed, very pensive, and feeling their pride has been stunned.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think this was a 2 minute summary, so quite good. Quite good.
Well, oh, I forgot something very important.
Mm-hmm.
That is, in the middle of all of this, Kunti recognized Karan and she fainted. So there's that moment that I think it's quite important
Mm-hmm.
for this, for the evolution of this
Okay. Nice.
epic.
So we can move forward to Swadhyay and Manan, which is we reflect on the text and we try to find cultural and philosophical aspects out of the text and relate it with our theme.
Yeah, yes.
So, do you want to go first? Shall I go first?
Go first. I talked enough.
Yeah. So, when I was wondering in the very beginning, where the people of Hastinapur, they were very excited about the Kuru princess. When I say Kuru princess, it also includes Pandavas, and I felt that they have some sense of pride on those princes, and that pride comes from the third definition which I gave, which is association, that they all are associated to those princes. They feel those are our future rulers. And so, whatever commentary we were reading or the gossip we were reading, I felt
Mm-hmm.
it has some element of pride to it. And
There's group pride.
Yeah.
And we have two sides. We have the Pandava side and we have the Kaurava side.
Yeah.
And I think there's a Hastinapur
Mm-hmm.
pride, and that's shown in this exhibition. There's a Kshatriya pride,
Yeah.
because the exhibition, it's a bellic exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an intellectual exhibition or an art exhibition. It's a bellic exhibition.
What's Balik?
War qualities.
Okay.
So I think the opening is an opening of display of pride, of being a Hastinapur prince.
Mm-hmm. And then, to me, the first instance of obvious pride, I would say, was because the pride in people, I felt it was little bit on in subtext, but the obvious one which I felt was Drona's declaration when Arjun comes and he introduces him as dearer to me than Ashwathama, Indra's son, Pandu's son, Kunti's son, and as valiant as Vishnu.
Oh, yeah.
So I've categorized this in those two categories of hubris and pleasure from association. It had the elements of both.
Absolutely. And I think Drona pride was shaken,
Mhm.
because the quality of the Pandavas and the Kauravas are a display of his qualities as a teacher. So, and Arjun was the jewel of his crown. So I think it's quite harsh, like to say, I love more Arjun than Ashwatthama.
Hmm.
Ashwatthama was a very controlled, at least for now,
Yeah.
person. Yeah, I didn't do a chronological reading,
Mhm.
or go from the beginning to the end.
But can I add one thing to this thing? As
Yes.
valiant as Vishnu.
Yeah.
I just wrote it like in future, Arjun was kind of humbled by Krishna when he was not able to fight in the war, and then Krishna had to pump him and give him the
But
gyan from Bhagavad
what's
Gita.
that story, that Arjun and Krishna, they are both incarnations of Vishnu?
So it's like they are called the incarnation of Nar and Narayan, and
Okay.
Narayan is God and Nar is man.
Oh.
So like Arjun represents the whole humanity,
Okay.
and the Vishnu represents the supreme soul.
Okay.
And I think that thing which you were saying, that man or human, when they decide to disassociate themselves with God, but I think in my case I would say supreme soul or something, or
Whatever
from
word.
universe.
Yeah.
Okay, instead of thinking that we are part of a one big system, when someone thinks, oh, I am bigger than the system or I am separate from this system, the universe has its own ways to bring you back to
Yeah,
reality.
there's a very nice expression that is, pride comes before the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And we have many expressions associated with pride, and in a way, this is a little bit what I see in these two chapters, that the Pandava were becoming proud of themselves and at the risk of arrogance. And Karan coming, it's also a way of teaching them.
Yeah. And I would just like to let our kind listeners know that our Leonor has also finished the OG Ramayana. And now she is very well aware of the epitome of pride,
Our
Ravan.
Ravan.
Yeah, she knows. Now she has seen pride in its human, demon, powerful form, whatever form Ravana had. So, yeah. But yeah, now I think you can go ahead. I just wanted to add that line that as valiant as Vishnu, and then probably in future humbled by Vishnu himself as Krishna.
And that's a nice point out.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, so we find a couple of instances where proud are used, and it is stated that Kunti is proud of Arjuna. And I wonder what's the feelings of Gandhari regarding Duryodhan, because we don't have anything about Gandhari in these two chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the feelings of Kunti in relation to Karna? Because we know that she fainted because she's seeing, I think it's out of guilt, out of shame, out of despair, and she sees her sons fighting each other.
Let's do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go over the characters and try to think about their feelings.
Okay, absolutely.
And let's do the ladies first. So, what would you say how Kunti may have felt after the end of the day?
I don't know, but I think she was in a very, 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 very high state of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
She never thought, which is normal, she never thought about the consequences of her act of letting Karn go floating down the Ganga River. And now she faces a moment where she has her sons fighting. And I think she's in a duel within herself if she should tell the truth or not. And I'm not sure what stopped her from telling the truth, apart from Lila itself. But I think it's not pride, but it's a fear, a deep fear of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I can't call that pride.
No, like, so what I feel is that Kunti she may have gone through a roller coaster of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
One is obviously, as you said, that she fainted because of guilt
Mm-hmm.
and probably she was ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
A very small part of her would be happy as well
Mm-hmm.
that the kid is still alive.
Yeah.
Uh, Probably a small part would be proud as well that he turned out to be a glorious big warrior. Like, probably in retrospection.
Yeah, but I don't know if in that moment
Yeah.
there was space to feel.
Yeah. Maybe say I'm saying after it all ended and during night
And
when you are sleeping and thinking
you
about
don't,
the day.
I think in a way that she might be thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I pushed him away of his rights of being
A kshatriya.
yeah, and have access to the knowledge and to the mentoring of a kshatriya, and he became this amazing warrior. So what would happen if actually he had the proper nurturing? And I don't know, but you see him feeling shamed, being questioned because he's the son of a sutta. that would make me would make me want to stand up and say, no, you are wrong. And actually, she started speaking, and it was Vidur that told her, shh, no, this is not the place to speak.
Yeah,
Not special,
she
not
wasn't
publicly
speaking. She
public.
was like blurting
Yeah,
something when she fainted. So
but there's the note that something like he thought, no, this is a public space. You are at the side of Gandhari. It's not the right place
hmm,
to say whatever disturbed you.
no, that's true. But I genuinely felt that it wasn't a conscious choice. She wasn't making a conscious
No,
choice. Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So from that side, I think I'm pretty sure about Kunti that she was not about to confess that Karna is her own son or something.
Well, we don't know. Consciously, I don't think she was consciously making that choice, but I think it might have.
No, but the thing is, for me, it only matters if it's a conscious choice. When you, if you are accepting Karna consciously, then only that matters. If you said something when you were like half fainted or something, it's just
But do you think she decided to float away her son consciously?
she did it in desperate times, but she's still accountable for that. Like you
So,
can't take away the accountability from her.
and so if she had said something about Kern in that burst
No, but
of
then what
shame,
the thing is, what is the result? Say if she said it in half consciousness, is she going to accept Karna as her child then?
we don't know. That's a alternate
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like,
universe.
if the result is that, oh, she's going to accept, at least she's going to confess, and then Karn takes a decision if he's okay, not okay with what happened to him. Having said that, I have some rebuttal on this aspect, that, and I get it that you are saying it from Kunti's aspect, that he was deprived of education and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but Karn got an opportunity.
Yes, but I'm saying only
Yeah,
from Kunti. She
I
doesn't know.
understood. Yeah, yeah.
It's from her
But
point of view, her
like,
perspective.
I think for her, the more hurting aspect would be that he is getting taunted by others and by her own sons like Bhim. Essentially, Bhim is taunting his own elder brother
Yeah.
and making him feel bad that, oh, you are a son of a Sutta or something like that. So I think probably that would be more in her head. And yeah, maybe these aspects may come later again in retrospection, that what he could have become if he had better opportunities or something.
Mm-hmm. Because the other day you spoke about ovarian
Ovarian
privilege,
privilege. Yeah.
and somewhere I wrote ovarian pride.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Makes sense.
Because there is a pride of being a kshatriya. There's even a pride of being a man.
Mm-hmm.
Fight with arrows. Do not fight with words, because words are the weapon of women.
Yeah. I actually wrote it as hubris from both sides. First from Arjun to send Karna to hell to his forefathers, and second from Karn, that fight with words. You are fighting with words which are women's weapons. So it was hubris
Is
from
there
both sides.
anything like the right of being proud? And when I say proud, it's hubris,
Mm-hmm.
or there's another and it's not even arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Superbia, that's the name.
Mm-hmm.
Superbia. And nowadays we when we want to say this, we talk about the God complex or being a narcissist or hubristic pride. Is there any instance where this can be justified? Because what I feel is there's a bubble of God complex in the Hastinapura house.
Mhm. But like, why it came into your head when we talked about these two? Like, I couldn't
I don't
picture.
know.
Like, I get it. They can have got complex because they are so good in their skills. They are like sons of, more or less all of them are sons of Devtas. So I think
And
it's
when I said Hastinapura house, I was not targeting the Pandavas. I was talking about.
because like even the text says somewhere that the Kshatriyas at those times had like unnatural strengths. So I feel when you have a skill set, it's easy to become,
Egotistic.
yeah, like I always feel like that, say, I always relate it with chess. Like Magnus Carlsen, who's like once in a lifetime kind of player, and he's so good at it that no one is close to him. So if you are at that level, what stops you from saying that, oh, I am the best? Or what stops you from feeling that way? That no one is even close to me, because it may sound arrogant or something, but it is in some sense also true. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I will simmer on that one because,
mm-hmm,
and maybe I'm too involved with the Western point of view. But I think the moment we start thinking that we are the ones to be credited, um, something it's wrong.
like I understand it from this aspect that in East there's a big culture of attributing your success to your guru or to God. Like we were in Krishna Das's concert. He takes no attribution
Mm-hmm.
for whatever he does. He just attributes it all to Neem Karoli Baba. And I think that's the same with, like, in some sense you can think that whatever Karna or Arjun they have achieved is more or less because of Drona or because of Parshuram, their their masters. So there's a and that kind of a guru shishya tradition in that culture is also in that side where you attribute your success to either your guru or either to gods. Like even Rama keeps on doing that, which we have seen
Mm-hmm.
at Ramayana, and people don't accept. And I think that's also one Indian thing. If you compliment someone, people are people can't take that compliment
Mm-hmm.
easily. They are like, oh no, no, it's totally okay. Oh no, it's like I didn't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's part of the culture. But I also feel that, again, that conflict which I keep on talking about, the presence and lack of individuality, like I think it's that kind of tug of war. Like if you can't accept a compliment, I also feel that you are not completely comfortable with your own individuality.
Well, that's why we are in the season of the self worth, self aware,
Mm-hmm.
self hatred, self compassion, self growth.
No, but it goes both ways, no?
No, exactly.
Like I mean, in both ways, that even when someone is doing something wrong, even that time they are like, it's not my mistake. Like Ravan was like going to Shiva and telling, it's you who have done all this to me. Like you gave me, well, okay.
But that it's lack of agency.
Yeah, but that lack of agency goes both ways, no? For good and for bad. For good, it's like it's not my agency, it was my guru's kripa. And for bad, it's like it's not my agency, it's the fate which destroyed my will, or my buddhi and my vivek and everything. So it's like that, like, so what I feel is that it's also that lack of individuality, like we are puppets. So I'm not saying that some side is better or some side is,
Mm-hmm.
but I what I feel is that finding that balance where
Mm-hmm.
you still are accountable for things, and and where where you are not going arrogant. It's a very
And so, but I think
difficult balance.
the baseline, it's always you have the right to act, but you don't have the right of the fruits of your actions.
Hmm.
But in the action itself, you are accountable for your actions regardless of the results.
Hmm.
And and from my point of view, we are here talking about the self, but it's the self with the little s. It's not the self with the capital S as the Atma
Hmm.
or Buddhi. We are talking about Ahamkara.
Hmm.
And whatever action is done to protect Ahamkara, it's in a way rooted in that sense of separation. Because I think one thing is to see yourself as a drop in the ocean, another thing is to think that you are the ocean itself.
Hmm. Makes sense.
Anyhow, we
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
moved away from our proposal, so let's go back in track. We were talking about Kunti feelings,
Hmm.
and now let's talk about Dhritarashtra. And we need to be more succinct, I
I
think.
think Dhritarashtra was probably at least very proud of his sons, especially Duryodhan, and the events which took place. So I think Dhritarashtra had a quite a good day, and I feel Gandhari probably had something similar feelings. The only thing is, I also feel that she would be proud of Pandavas as well,
Mm-hmm.
along with how whatever ways the Kauravas performed, she may be proud with
And
Pandavas as well.
Drona.
I think for Drona it was what is that word called? When you are like, there's a very particular word for this, eye opener. For that event was an eye opener, because he was quite confident that he has given all the tools and everything for Arjun to become the greatest archer. And then he sees, at least through this text, that someone is bettering him through original text, someone tied alongside him. So for
The,
him, it was an eye opener.
yeah, I think he was a little bit in the high horse.
Yeah, like why not? As I said, like that pleasure from association and little bit of hubris. It was a combination of both. Arjun was kind of once in a lifetime disciple. So
And what do you make of Bhima? What do you think that fight between Bhima and or Bhim and Duryodhan was, and the way Bhim behaved? Because Bhim was really harsh. But to be honest, I think the way Bhim reacted to Karn, it was not directed to Karn. It was directed to Duryodhan. It was his hatred towards Duryodhan that made him behave the way he did towards Karn.
yeah,
It's like you are supporting Karn, therefore I'm against Karn. And
yeah, I think Bhim is quite binary in those sense. Like he doesn't think in grays. He's quite zero and ones. So
black and white.
yeah, so which makes sense. And I think you're quite right that it was he didn't have any particular problems with Karn. I feel like if there was no association with Duryodhan, probably he wouldn't have been that harsh. Uh Also, I think as you said that ovarian privilege, that oh we are Kshatriyas. So I think he was the only one, if I'm not wrong, in the text who mentioned something of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kripacharya said that you have to introduce yourself, you have to be on equal terms to fight Arjun.
Following the protocol.
Yeah. Um, but and
Yeah.
in some ways that protocol can be useful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like say if you are academically challenging someone, at least you should have some credentials.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone should be allowed to just challenge anyone. Um, so I also feel that that construct can be useful, but that construct can also result in gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, but yeah, I felt Bhim probably was livid and resentful by the end of the whole event. I feel like,
No, he was. The
yeah.
text tells us that. I was trying to understand. I always look at Bim as a gigantic teddy bear of love. Okay. So I see that gigantic teddy bear of love being blinded, being, saying things that are twisted
Mm,
and harmful. So I'm trying to understand what's behind it. And yes, at the text tells us at the end he felt very ashamed, especially because he knew that whatever Duryodhan said was right.
mm,
Um, and what about Karn? And a brainwave came to me that I feel that Karn was fighting for the right of being proud of himself. It's like he needed the external validation
mm.
of his right of being proud.
I think you actually used a very like you used an appropriate word, external validation, and I think Karna's Karn's whole life was about getting an external validation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking to my mother talking about Karn, and she said, "Oh, he was a big, like what to say, Dani who gave his earrings and
Merciful.
yeah, like he used to give away things." But in all honesty, that attribute was not selfless. He wanted people to remember him as someone who gives away.
Well, that was the blessing of his father.
Yeah, but like for him, eternal fame was a thing. Like he wanted eternal fame because he felt robbed of that.
I think he wanted eternal fame out of a deep wound
Yeah.
because he was always rejected because he was a Suta son. So that created a wound in his heart that he felt the need of proving himself. And I actually find very beautiful that his father went to the arena and he placed the crown on his feet.
Uh, I didn't pay attention to that, but
That
makes
I
sense.
think that was very.
But that's also one issue which I find with Karn.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Like it's very easy to say that, oh, if people are saying something, why you are taking it personally or this or
Yeah,
that.
try it.
But but I also felt that when you say that this wound, I get it that society was inflicting that wound, but he wasn't also helping himself
Yeah.
by like uh, I feel it's just discrimination, okay, and we
Mm-hmm.
all uh feel discriminated somewhere in some way in some circumstance, and it's on us then how we react to that discrimination. And I just felt that society wanted him to feel ashamed about being a Sutaputra, and he
He
was
felt.
being ashamed.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if he would have proudly accepted that identity, things could have been different as well.
yeah. I agree with you,
Hmm.
and it's I think it's a conflict that, again, and doing the parallel to nowadays, we see it. It's like your self-worth depends on the way other people see you.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, it, and for new generations, is how many likes you have on Instagram, how many views your podcast had.
In all honesty, I don't even think it's just the new generation. Like even our previous generation are no better. Like for example, at least I don't know about West, but in India, your respect in society is a big thing. Like how people perceive you, and that's why there are all those stigmas around. Oh, your kids should be supposed to do the right thing, should be supposed to marry the right person in the right caste, and this and that. So I feel that we being social animal, we fear being an outcast
Yeah.
or someone banishing us.
Now you are making me think about the Zen tree.
What does
The,
the
the, the tree that grew very twisted so nobody would cut it. Be an outcast, sometimes it's good.
yeah, like, and what I feel is that um with Karn, like he could have also taken those things the other ways. He decided to go some particular way, and I feel because of that he also found himself in situations like, say, once he was made king by Duryodhan. It was such a big favor that there is no possible way to return that favor except by giving his own life.
And on that point,
Hmm.
it feels like Duryodhan gave him the right of being proud of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he didn't know who he was truly, in the sense of he didn't know his value. And that's why he needed desperately others to validate his value.
Hmm. Like, I don't think that Karn was unaware of his own value, but I think he wanted the validation badly. There is no doubt about it. And that's why he also felt so grateful towards Duryodhan.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say when I only thought of that line from, I think it's from Batman or something. It is like, it is what I does define me or something like that. Batman says somewhere
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Rachel. So uh to me it was like once Karn gave the evidence that he can do whatever Arjun can do, and according to this text even can better him, Duryodhan was like, okay, this is enough for me to validate this person. And
Then let's dive into, what do you think about Duryodhan? And I know that this retelling adds more masala, like you say, but I think that yes, Duryodhan recognized the skills and grandiosity of Karn, and he just saw the opportunity and made a big ally.
mhm,
That's it. Uh, and regardless of the intentions, what he said was very valid.
mhm,
His arguments were very, very valid. And he brought the argument of not even the Pandavas are sons of Pandu, which maybe be his deep argument to want to be the king instead of Yudhishthir. But what do you make about what the author made of Bhishma?
I,
Cursed.
for me, it was like just cursed child and Harry Potter relationship. I don't. So, just to give context to the kind listeners, the author writes that Bhishma was happy about the whole episode, that Drona's arrogance shattered, and like to me,
Trimmed.
yeah, to me, it felt like it was as if Bhishma is somewhat jealous of Drona, which doesn't make any sense.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, okay. Or the other, like to me, it was like it's clear quoted everywhere that Bhishma's favorite grandson was Arjun.
But we don't have that in this.
I think there is some things in the
Yeah?
text. I
Okay.
think even in the text there are some things. So I don't think he would ever be happy to see that kind of conflict. Um, Also, I think in this Bhishma realized that Karna is someone very special. Uh, I don't think he may be able to make all this relationship with Kunti and everything, but he knew for sure that he is someone very special. And at least through original text, whatever I feel that he was like, there is no mention on how he felt, but I just feel that he wouldn't be happy about what all happened. So I just discard that extra masala which is in this chapter from the author.
Okay. And there's one thing that I was thinking, and it's not related to pride, but
Mhm.
this text tells us that Vyas comes to watch the exhibition, and I can't understand why.
And I also found it strange then that there was no mention
Uh, uh,
of him.
no,
Nothing
no,
in the
it just
chapter.
says, oh, Vyasa comes to. And
We
he doesn't.
I would like to revise the episode from the series to see if he was there or not. But yeah, I don't know because the actor who played Vyas in the series, I really like him. Not sure if he was there, but yeah, that was strange. But I would bring you back to Duryodhan
Mm-hmm.
because you were pondering about his friendship with Karna, I guess. And then you
Yeah,
digressed to
yeah,
Bhishma.
yeah. I think, and you mentioned yesterday. I for me this is not a selfless
And for you, it's
friendship.
like an alliance and not a friendship.
Yeah, I.
Okay, so I have a question. Say if there
Mm-hmm.
were no Pandavas in the picture,
Hmm.
what do you think would have happened?
Oh, what do you mean? No
So
Pandavas.
there, say Pandavas don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Duryodhan is for sure the next
Mm-hmm.
king, and Karna comes, and Karna.
Karna was a rival in that scenario.
No, say if even we just assume hypothetically that Karna comes and he requests that I want to show off my skills.
Oh
Would
no, Duryodhan would be like, "Who are you? You're a Sutaputra."
Yeah, like it's difficult to say what would have happened. Yeah.
But this is my intuition
Mm-hmm.
because he would not be. It would, he didn't need him. He didn't need him. Need to instrumentalize him. He would be seen as a threat.
Okay, and if in case he may have just seen the skill set of Karna somehow, what would?
He would be a threat.
Okay.
Because I don't see anywhere, and
Mm.
probably I'm wrong because this is a very long epic, there's no other display of rightfulness
Mm-hmm.
anywhere else
From Duryodhan.
from Duryodhan.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only place in the text that you see him being siding someone that it's theoretically and in a very twisted um, social organization placed as lower than. And you see the way he treated Draupadi. Now you are my slave.
Mhm.
So no, I think this, he just found some justifications. And yes, I think he recognized the skills. And I think everyone recognized the skills of Karn. But in that alternate universe, or he would be a threat, or he would be someone to sneer on.
Okay, so I would add a question here. Um, Say if you even realize that this is something obvious, now there are two ways. People either accept it or don't accept it. For
What?
example, when Jesus was doing all miracles,
Mm-hmm.
you had two options. Either you accept him as a as someone special, or you reject him.
Mm-hmm.
What I felt was that everyone else was in the rejection mode, and Duryodhan was the only one who accepted Karna,
Mm-hmm.
who accepted his skill set, his talent, his.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I get it that he probably wanted to have a show and see something like between Karna and Arjun, and he thought that okay, this guy would be a good strategic alliance.
No, basically, is finally I have a weapon to
No,
defeat the Pandavas.
but also he was the only one showing acceptance. No one else is showing acceptance.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And in Portugal, there's a saying that is the maternity is full of good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I agree with you that intention over here, it's not important. And I think everyone saw the skills of Karn. Yes, Drona was the only one that accepted him, and the Kaurava by association.
Duryodhan, you said Drona. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. They are both
Yeah, yeah.
D1 and D2.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't close my eyes to the
Okay.
intention behind it.
No, makes sense. But yeah, and obviously the start of it can always be the case that the start of friendship was for a selfish purpose, and maybe then it turned out other way or something. We will have to read the text ahead to know that.
Yeah, and I know that in the text there's more lines trying to validate the friendship, the pure friendship of Duryodhan towards Karn, but that does not make part of canon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there is like I think that was probably just he just wanted to insist that Duryodhan felt that as if Karna is a long last friend or something. Like he just wanted to emphasize that it's not just purely for the sake of selfishness. I think so that's why he added those lines. That's what I believe.
and I think this was a very important moment in the life of the Pandavas.
Mm-hmm.
Because it made them grow. And when something challenging in your life happens, there's two options: or you grow from it, or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And they grew from it. And I think this is an important moment in their lives.
So I think if you are talking about this, I think you can also talk about how Yudhishthir may have felt in the end. Because I think we have talked about more or less all
No,
the main characters.
yeah, and Yudhishthir was pensive because he knew that strategically him was at least equal to Duryodhan. Arjun was peerless, and now they were in a different strategical place. So he felt resentful even and somber. And Bhishma was outraged and ashamed and
Bhishma?
I'm so sorry, Bhima.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
yeah.
all good.
And we have Arjun. I think Arjun pride was like a balloon that was pierced by a needle.
That's a very good allegory. Yeah.
And it was very important for Arjun. Because, and in all fairness, there will always be someone that can beat you, that can be better than you.
Yeah.
And to bring that awareness to Arjun, it's very important. Because it's in a way, it's not only Arjun's fault. Everyone around him was telling him, you are the best, you are the best.
Tailang.
So at some stage, you will believe it. And it's like a kid, if you keep telling the kid, you are a bad kid, you are a bad kid, they will become a bad kid, and because they believe in that. And it's the same with Arjun.
Yep.
It was not only, or probably it was more than Arjun, it was all the Hastinapur pride that made him inflated.
Yep.
Okay, I think we are more or less done with pride. And with this conversation, and this research that we've done for the episode, did you start looking at pride in a different way? Did it change?
Not really. Like I had most of the times I relate pride with a good feeling. In this chapter we still explored hubris, but most of the times I relate pride with the good stuff.
You are son of these times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm the opposite. So for me, it was very interesting to dive into sin, into pride as a sin, and to see that concept of separation, and to look at pride in nowadays, and to understand that the elevation of the self brings also the fall of the self. So we suffer much more of self-hatred, of self-punishment, of self-depreciation. And it's much harder because it's a lonely struggle. And you rightly pointed out the dissolution of the individual in the Eastern society. And I point out the Western isolation. I think the pendulums are always going to extremes, and we need to understand the middle and find the path of the middle, where there's an understanding of the change of oneself. It's the change of society, but you are never the center of the universe. You are part of a universe that it's much bigger than you. And I think pride in the negative way, it's to think there you are unbeatable, to have that arrogance of walking above others. And for sure, someday, sometime, someone will come and strike you,
Mhm.
because that's evolution.
Yeah, those are
Okay,
good
sorry.
insights. Mm.
Okay, so let's move on to Naman.
Mm-hmm. Very difficult for me. I think I will just go with the obvious candidate here, which I think in this case was Duryodhan.
Yeah, I had that struggle too. I wanted to bless Duryodhan too, but
Yeah.
now I'm trying to find another one in the middle, because I think there's other people that deserve a blessing too.
Yeah, I think I would just go for Duryodhan because at least he did the right thing, I feel. Maybe he had convoluted intentions but I
Mhm.
think it was the right thing to do at that moment, and I think his gesture meant a lot to
Mhm.
Karn, and yeah, so this chapter Duryodhan for me.
Hmm. I need to reflect a little bit, because I thought about Namaning Duryodhan too, because I don't think we have another opportunity. I don't know. And regardless of his intentions, his actions and his words were right. So, yeah. But in that, I think I want to Naman Gandhari.
Mhm. Your favorite character.
Yeah, one of my, or at least one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to Naman Gandhari for her invisibility.
Mm.
She didn't have only 5 sons in the arena. She had how many?
100.
100 sons in the arena. She had Duryodhan acting in a external rightful way, and we don't hear her feelings.
Mm.
She was in that moment. I don't know if I didn't want to take off my blindfold,
Mm.
and she stood listening. So, and in this blessing of Gandhari, I think I want to bless the mothers of this epic, that are most of the times away in silence, but their words are sometimes more powerful weapons than the arrows of the kshatriya, of the
Oh,
men.
what a line. Well, when Karn said that thing that, oh, don't use women's weapon or something, what I felt was like, yeah, because men are stupid. Like, you can't have good arguments, so you resort to violence.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't feel like, an insult. Like, to me, it felt like he's kind of insulting men by saying that line.
Yeah, I agree to disagree,
Uh-huh.
in the sense of, yeah, I agree with you, but in that context.
No, I get it. Like what he was trying to convey. But
Yeah.
for me, it was like really like, yeah, I would rather prefer that you have better arguments than someone having better weapons. Though I am not saying that weapons are not useful or we shouldn't have them. But having good arguments, it impresses me more. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so I think we are done for today.
announcement for the next chapter and the theme.
Announcement for, so under the suggestion of Mayank, we decided to go over the 7 deadly sins.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how we will approach gluttony. I hope there's something about Bim in that chapter. Otherwise, I truly don't know how we go around it. But anyhow, so the next two chapters, Drona's Revenge, the father and his son, we will read it with the sankalpa of finding grit in it. And I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
We had a really challenging start of the episode, okay? It was 1 hour fighting with our OBS and
Equipments
and
and multiple restarts.
but yeah, we proudly made it.
Yeah, we are very proud. Very proud.
Sort of.
She was making all the suggestions. Restart this, restart that, because I was out of ideas. So, I would request our kind listeners
Now you request.
to
Very
be
demanding of you.
or to go all wild and beastly, and don't
Chatter our pride.
yeah, and just comment if you were team Karna versus team Arjun. And
I
just
was Team Vidur.
your team doesn't count. And just roast each other and roast each other's characters and roast us, but bring in
Do it
some
kindly.
yeah, do it kindly and bring it some engagement, because we would like to hear from you that which side you were, team Karna or team Arjun. I can just say that I'm team Arjun, and I think with that we should be able to close this.
Oh, yes. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.